Chapter 11. What about visual aids and props? The value of an idea lies in the using of it. Thomas Edison. You're making great progress through this book. And now we get to talk about some of the fun ingredients to a live presentation. Visual aids and props. We live in such a digital culture. As communicators, we can throw up images, roll videos, and make some seriously cool backdrops. If these exciting visuals help get your point across, then use them. But if you don't need them, then don't use them. Now, image is powerful, and there are some people who simply learn more when they see something. But your visual aid should bring a deeper and brighter awareness to your idea. For example, if you have 3 points and 3 matching images that help get your points across, then go for it. Just make sure to ask yourself, do the visual aids help make the message stick? Sometimes a photograph or visual aid can actually take away from an idea. Why? Because the theater of the mind is grander. The mind can imagine a situation, a scenario, or even the details of a story more vividly than a photograph can show. For example, I may talk about Haitian villagers showed me the strength of togetherness by pulling in fishing nets. And then I throw up an actual picture of Haitian fishermen with those nets. You might think to yourself, that's it? I thought it was a bit more dramatic than that. In this case, your mind painted a better photo than the picture I showed. So while visual aids can be fun and exciting, they may not always be necessary. Use them only when you believe they'll help make the point clearer to the audience. Now, when I speak in small groups, 25 people or less, I love visual aids. Our neighborhood gathers for studies, and when I'm speaking in a circle with neighbors, I love having something tangible that can be passed around the room. For example, I use an hourglass when I speak about the importance of making each day count. Each attendee can flip the hourglass and watch the sand pass through the middle. It's such a personal moment, and the hourglass helps plant this point in their mind and heart. Your life matters. Make today count. In that close proximity, I love visual aids. I prefer them. But let's jump to the big stage. How can the person in the balcony really grab hold of that moment with the hourglass? Sure, the camera could capture you flipping the hourglass and it may seem cool and mesmerizing, but it could also be distracting, and something could go wrong. I was at an event recently, and the speaker had one of those spinning tops where you pull the string and the top is supposed to spin. Well, the string broke and the top didn't spin. The audience laughed and the speaker was embarrassed. But somehow he had to gather his thoughts and still make his point. In that moment, the visual aid hurt, and it hurt pretty badly. We also have to be aware that some speaking environments may not be conducive to visual aids. I travel a lot to speak, and oftentimes I'll send visual aids in advance and then step into a room that just doesn't have the screen in the right place. Or maybe the production person doesn't have the right software to really execute my visual idea. So here's what I do. I use a platform called Box. There, I keep a folder for each of my talks with my visual aids in every format possible, i.e. Keynote, PowerPoint, ProPresenter, Word. I provide the organizer with as many formats as possible so they can plug in and display my visual aids on whatever tech tool they're using that day. Remember, we often don't have control regarding the tech resources at the event, unless your tech writer is extremely specific and says that ProPresenter must be available. Don't forget to double-check the tech support you have in the room and the resources available to help execute your plan. I'll add one last note here. I would prefer to give a talk and then conclude by saying, I have some supplementary resources available online. I actually created a slide deck just for today's talk, where you can get some more supporting visuals. Simply visit timdtellis.com and then give your audience a special page where they can download all of your visuals. This invites your audience to stay close even after you're done talking, because they want to go to your website and download your visual support. Just a thought to think about. So use visual aids when they help get your message across, but don't miss out on the theater of the mind. It can take the story further and brighter and deeper than even a cherished photo can. I believe you can make an impact without a visual aid. It's not essential, but if you want to use it, then go for it. You get to make the final decision. Just make sure you have your bases covered to execute the plan accordingly. I wish you the very best.